Hello, you're watching the news bulletin. From another headlines as usual.
Vietnamese leaders receive Japanese defense minister. Top legislator receives Siemens Energy AG leader.
Let's begin our bulletin with the latest news. First of all, we report on recent activities of Vietnamese leaders.
State President Nguyễn Xuân Phúc on September 12 received Japanese Minister of Defense Kishi Nobuo, who is making an official visit to Vietnam from September 10 to 12 at the invitation of his Vietnamese counterpart General Phan Van Giang. The president stressed that Vietnam will create a very favorable condition for the further boosting of cooperation in the field of national defense with Japan. Phúc spoke highly of Japan's stance on ensuring security, safety, and freedom of navigation and aviation in the East Sea. For his part, Minister Kishi Nobuo affirmed Vietnam is a partner of the top importance of Japan in the region. He expressed his hope that the two countries will further strengthen their national defense cooperation. On the same day, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính hosted a reception for Japanese Defense Minister Kishi Nobuo. Chính told the guests that the party, state, government, and people of Vietnam take Japan as one of the partners of top importance, which enjoys the high trust in the country's foreign policy. The Prime Minister also affirmed to facilitate the development of bilateral national defense cooperation. Minister Kishi Nobuo spoke highly of the Vietnam government's efforts in the fight against the pandemic and affirmed he would ask Japan's relevant authorities to continue the vaccines assistance to Vietnam. The guest added that Japan will continue cooperating with Vietnam in the field of Vietnam's priority. Early on September the 11th, Defense Minister General Phan Van Giang hosted an official welcome ceremony for Japanese Defense Minister Kishi Nobuo, and then the two ministers held talks in Hanoi. The two sides spoke highly of the bilateral defense ties over the recent past, exchanged ideas on regional and world situation of mutual concern. They reaffirmed the need for the compliance with the international law, including the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. The two ministers also exchanged ideas on the orientations for the Vietnam-Japan defense cooperation in the new period and welcomed the signing of the agreement on the transfer of defense technology and equipment.
National Assembly Chairman Vương Đình Huệ wrapped up his EU visit on September 12 with a number of activities.
National Assembly Chairman Vương Đình Huệ on September 11th hosted a reception in Helsinki for Christian Bruch, President and CEO of Siemens Energy AG. Huệ suggested the company work with the Vietnamese Ministry of Industry and Trade to consider participating in bidding for component projects of the 6,000 MW Cana LNG power complex in Ninh Thuận province. The Siemens Energy AG leader said that his company will comply with the requirements prescribed by the Vietnamese law and continue to look for investment opportunities in this field in the future. Regarding the COVID-19 fight, Christian Bruch said his company has worked to promote the supply of medical equipment and vaccines to Vietnam through the government channel, and is doing its utmost to support Vietnam's access to vaccines as well as medical equipment. On the same day, National Assembly Chairman Vương Đình Huệ met with Anna-Kaisa Ikonen, mayor of Tampere City, the second largest urban area in Finland. Ikonen said many firms in the locality are keen on carrying out projects and bolstering cooperation with Vietnam in digitalization, IT, smart renewable energy, healthcare and scientific research, among others. They asked Ikonen to call on leading firms of the city to further invest in Vietnam, especially in the field the city holds strengths. While in Finland, Huệ also paid a visit to the Embassy of Vietnam and met representatives of the Vietnamese community in the country.
Now let's take a look at the most prominent events of the week from September 6 to 12.
Chinese State Councilor and Foreign Minister Wang Yi paid an official visit to Vietnam from September 10 to 12, during which he also co-chaired the 13th meeting of the Steering Committee for Vietnam-China Bilateral Cooperation. Receiving the Chinese official on September 11, Party General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng proposed that the two sides continue to increase high-level contact, strengthen mutual friendship and political trust, enhance the effectiveness of cooperative mechanisms between the two parties, and promote the sharing of experience in party building and national governance. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính said He hopes China will continue to support more vaccines and transfer technology in vaccine production and COVID-19 treatment medicines and share experience in disease treatment and control with Vietnam while receiving the Chinese guests. During the talks on September 11, Foreign Minister Bùi Thanh Sơn and Chinese State Councillor and Foreign Minister Wang Yi said the two foreign ministries will continue to work closely and consult their respective leaders to strengthen exchanges, promote friendship and comprehensive cooperation between the two countries in the new period at all levels, and promote economic and trade cooperation among others. Politburo member and Standing Deputy Prime Minister Phạm Bình Minh and Chinese State Councillor and Foreign Minister Wang Yi on September 10 co-chaired the 13th meeting of the Steering Committee for Vietnam-China Bilateral Cooperation. Wang Yi announced that his country will donate an additional 3 million doses of COVID-19 vaccines to Vietnam this year.
Vietnam's Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh emphasized the strategic role of the Greater Mekong sub-region in the international integration process and economic growth of Asia while addressing the 7th Greater Mekong Sub-region Summit held virtually on September 9. He suggested priorities in sub-region cooperation in the time ahead. Firstly, the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic. The Vietnamese leader said, as the pandemic rages on, no one is safe while others remain infected with COVID-19, and no nation is safe while others still have to grapple with COVID-19. He said Vietnam will continue to effectively contribute to the implementation of common goals and visions of the sub-region.
National Assembly Chairman Vương Đình Huệ attended the 5th World Conference of Speakers of Parliament, which opened in Austria on September 7 local time. In his message sent to the conference, Huệ said the event, which enables parliamentarians as representatives of the people to come together physically, is a demonstration of multilateral solidarity to work together in concerted efforts triumphing over COVID-19 for peace, economic recovery and sustainable development. As part of his trip to Austria to attend the 5th World Conference of Speakers of Parliament, Chairman Huệ met the President of the Inter-Parliamentary Union, Walter Pacquiao, in Vienna on September 6th local time, among others.
During his European trip from September 5th to 11th, National Assembly Chairman Vương Đình Huệ paid a working visit to European Parliament and Belgium and an official visit to Finland. He held talks with President of European Parliament David Sassoli in Brussels on September 8th, during which they discussed issues to further intensify the two parliaments' ties. In the meeting the same day, Chairman Huệ and President of European Council Charles Michel agreed to further enhance cooperation between two sides, emphasizing the significant role of the Vietnamese legislature in the European Parliament. The Vietnamese legislative leader held talks with President of Chamber of Representatives of Belgium, Eliane Titilus, in Brussels on September 9. He expressed his hope that Vietnamese and Belgian legislative bodies will set up a cooperation framework to share experience in parliamentary activities, as well as foster bilateral and multilateral collaboration. While COVID-19 remains a complex issue in Quang Ngai province, with many cases detected in the community, the province's Lý Island is yet to record any infections. The island district is therefore doing its best to stay safe as the pandemic rages on the mainland.
Lý Island has over 500 fishing vessels, with majority of fishing being done on the Hoàng Sa and Trường Sa fishing routes. Now is the peak of the fishing season, and many fishing boats are returning to their localities after long days at sea. To control and prevent COVID-19 from spreading on the island, fishermen anchored offshore are being traced and tested.
Vessels that have had their itinerary traced and their people tested negative are allowed to pass through the checkpoint.
Lý Island is considered a green zone as no COVID-19 cases have been detected as yet, and it is in a good position to remain pandemic-free. The local fishermen out at sea may have contact with others from outside of the locality, while people returning from pandemic-hit areas increase the risk of the disease being spread on the island. In addition to border guard checkpoints, community-based COVID-19 prevention teams also play an important role in pandemic prevention and control.
We monitor the area every day in order to quickly detect those returning from pandemic-hit areas with their medical declarations. We also encourage people to follow the 5K message.
Lý Sơn Island has tightened its isolation regulations, with people outside of the locality not being allowed to return, except in essential cases.
In order to maintain Lý Sơn Island as a green zone, we determined to not let mainlanders visit, except for those who have completed quarantining. Fishing vessels from other provinces are also not permitted to come ashore, except for special cases.
Lý Sơn is one of only few green zones in Quảng Ngãi province. The tightening pandemic prevention measures at this time is very important, contributing to protecting the island from the disease. Gongs have for generations been closely attached to the community, traditional rituals and festivals of the Satiang ethnic minority people in the southern province of Bình Phước. The locality has adopted many initiatives in recent times to preserve the cultural values of the gongs, in particular encouraging the efforts of local artisans to keep the gongs ringing out forever.
Over the last 10 years, this gong trip in Binh Chung village, Phước Tân Commune in Phú Riêng district have met regularly to play their gongs. The older artisans show their passion and enthusiasm for gong rhythms by passing it down to the younger generation. For them, the ringing of the gongs has a unique spiritual value, so promoting the traditional musical instrument is an important task.
The gong culture is increasingly falling into oblivion. I have continued to teach my children and grandchildren how to beat the gongs and perform traditional dances so that they don't forget their own culture.
Cultural activities involving gongs are now much rarer than previously. Gongs regularly appeared at village festivals and ceremonies in the past, but are now only heard at festivals held by local authorities or at competitions. Proud to be a member of local gong troop since its establishment, Dieu Du, 76 years old, who is now head of the gong team, said the team of Satiang people in Binh Chung village are mostly elderly and middle-aged people. Aware that the cultural value of gongs is in danger of being lost, as an artisan, he hopes to inspire the younger generation to promote the traditional culture.
I teach my children to play gongs so they don't forget their traditional culture. Before, gongs were played during New Rice festivals, New Year celebrations, and other rituals.
Members of the gong troop in Binh Chung village all share the same view and join together to preserve the gong culture for the generations to come. With their love for the gong culture, they hope to play a part in keeping it alive among the Satiang people. The commune has supported the Gong Club's participation in cultural activities and encouraged local people to uphold traditional cultural values. We also hope to receive support from the club so that the cultural identity of the local Satiang people can be preserved. In order to ensure that gongs ring out forever, it's necessary to gain the support of authorities at all levels to create the conditions for gong clubs to operate more efficiently and professionally.
And that's wrap up on this bulletin. Thanks for watching and see you next time.